DocTalk is brought to you by Merck Animal Health, the science of healthier animals.
Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson. Thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to have a great show. We have Dr. Steve Ensley from Kansas State University's Veterinary Diagnostic Lab, where he leads the toxicology section. Today we're going to talk about blue-green algae, so stay tuned.
As dependable as the sunrise, in dairy parlors, open pastures, on ranches and feed yards across America. A place where reputation is more than a name, where the science of healthier animals is a way of life. It's the responsibility that drives who we are and what we do. Every decision, every day. It's your livelihood and our responsibility.
If you're looking for advanced and innovative livestock handling products and facilities, Daniels Manufacturing Company is who you want to choose. They are a family-owned business that puts the needs of their customers first, and have so since they opened in 1958. With low-stress cattle handling being of the utmost importance, they are focused on quality, not quantity. The company prides themselves on prioritizing the animal's well-being by staying on the cutting edge of design and only using the best materials and manufacturing operations. For more information or to purchase your own, contact Daniels Manufacturing Company today. Closed captioning is brought to you by Profusion Drench for beef cattle, a no prescription, no needle supplement. To learn more, go to zenpro.com.
Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk, and we have a familiar face, the Onega, Kansas native, Dr. Steve Ensley. We're back at Kansas State University, here where Dr. Ensley serves as a toxicology professor and does a lot of service work too, right, in the diagnostic lab?
Right, the more I can do, the better. So
right.
That's what I enjoy.
And so Dr. Ensley comes with a world of knowledge. He has been in private practice, and I think that's what your practical understanding of every day what farmers, ranchers, veterinarians are going through just helps you serve people so much better.
Yeah, no, my practice experience I think is invaluable. My dad was a veterinarian. I'm only a 2-generation veterinarian, not a 3 like Dan is. But yeah, I learned a lot from my dad, and then the practice time I had was really where I learned everything. And then, when I came back to school, I get to apply what I learned there. But yeah, being able to practice is, I think is a must if you're going to be trying to do anything like I'm doing. So.
Yep. So you're seeing samples every day. You have people sending you in things, and you get all the fun cases.
Right. Yeah, I'd say, when I was in practice, I, looked at infectious disease things are probably 80% at least of what we look at, but the tox cases are 10%, 15%, but they're clearly the most fun. That's when you have all the death loss associated with some of the, big cases. So yeah, usually, I always say if anybody knows me on a first name basis, it's probably not good for them because they had too much trouble. But
so we're going to talk about blue-green algae, and pretty common.
Right. So I'd say, yeah, blue-green algae's been around forever, but been a big change in the last 10 or 15 years where the blooms are bigger, they're more repeatable. We just have more issues with blue-green algae that don't go away. I was at the Diagnostic lab at Iowa State for 16 years, and when I was there, we had blue-green algae problems that would be a problem every year. And it used to be you'd have problems one year, maybe not the second, but now it's, if you've had problems one year, you're going to have problems again. It's just a matter of when.
So it's the same ponds, the same reservoirs, the same things catching it wind up being repeat offenders.
Right. So it used to be in small ponds, in our pasture ponds, it wasn't as repeatable, and it wasn't as big a problem. Now, I remember by Osceola, Iowa, there was a place that we had cattle death loss with, I think every year for the last 5 years, and so trying to make a change, we have to do something different, or the problem is not going to go away.
So I think that's a great setup for what you're going to see in the next 3 sections. As we talk more about blue-green algae, we'll talk about what it causes, some of the clinical signs, and then some of the things we can do for it. You're watching DocTalk. We're here with Dr. Steve Ensley at Kansas State University, and we'll be right back.
If you're looking for advanced and innovative livestock handling products and facilities, Daniels Manufacturing Company is who you want to choose. They are a family-owned business that puts the needs of their customers first, and have so since they opened in 1958. With low-stress cattle handling being of the utmost importance, they are focused on quality, not quantity. The company prides themselves on prioritizing the animal's well-being by staying on the cutting edge of design and only using the best materials and manufacturing operations. For more information or to purchase your own, contact Daniels Manufacturing Company today. Producers know stress costs money. It puts their cattle at greater risk of illness and can be a substantial drain on animal performance. That's why Zinpro developed Profusion Drench for beef cattle. Formulated with Zinpro's patented trace mineral technology, Profusion Drench is a no-script, no-needle performance supplement proven to rapidly replenish essential nutrients lost during times of stress. For optimal results, use Profusion Drench with Zinpro Performance Minerals in feed as part of a complete nutrition program. To learn more, go to zinpro.com.
The state of Iowa and Iowa State University are proud to host the 2021 Beef Improvement Federation Annual Research Symposium and Convention. The convention will be located in downtown Des Moines with easy access to the airport, hotels, and local restaurants. Iowa State University is just north with its research and teaching farms. Join us in Iowa and experience how Iowa provides the beef industry with innovation to application.
As dependable as the sunrise, in dairy parlors, open pastures, on ranches and feed yards across America. A place where reputation is more than a name, where the science of healthier animals is a way of life. It's the responsibility that drives who we are and what we do. Every decision, every day. It's your livelihood and our responsibility.
ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need, from prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thomson here with Dr. Steve Ensley, and we're at Kansas State University, where Dr. Ensley serves as the lead of the toxicology section here at the Veterinary Diagnostic Lab at the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University. And we just switched. I'm an Iowa native that taught down here for years, and you're a Kansas native that taught at Iowa State for years, and I'm going to say Iowa State got the short end of the stick by getting me back and you leaving.
No, I don't know. That's all I hear about what Dan Thomson used to do. So.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that either. But it's always fun to get together with Dr. Ensley, just a wealth of knowledge. And so as we talk about this blue-green algae and we talk about, you know, what would people see as far as if all of a sudden I think I have a problem, what would the cows or the bull or the calves be looking like?
So yeah, usually if the water, if your pond water changes color or you notice an abnormal growth, that's the first thing we like to be aware of. Many times it can be vegetation, so it's not always a bloom. So you need to usually have the water tested or do something so you can determine whether it's a bloom or not. If it's a bloom, then we need to test the water to look to see how safe it is, and then if we can't use it, you need to get the animals off of there. But the problem with the blue-green algae, when we have a bloom, these cyanobacteria produce a toxin, and so if they're there and they're producing a toxin, it can get serious. We'll see death, loss, and illness. And the two syndromes we typically see, one's an acute death. There's a neurotoxin they produce. The other one is liver damage. So the liver damage issue can maybe not show up all at once like the neurotoxin will. But so we see problems with animals on pasture aren't doing well, and if you didn't check your water source out or have any indication that was the problem, you're probably going to miss some of the initial clinical signs that we see with that.
So what do we find? A dead cow,
Right. Sometimes you see an acutely dead cow, or as you look, you may see wildlife even around the pond that have died.
Really?
Yeah. It's if the neurotoxin is there, it's that sudden. We've had cases where dogs have actually swam across the pond, got to the other side, get out, and fall over and die if that neurotoxin is in the pond. So it can be serious. The liver toxin, the good thing is the one we see most often is the liver toxin. And so it can be a little harder to figure out because it damages the liver, but the liver's very regenerative, and so the signs they show can be very variable.
Okay. So is this toxic to people?
Sure. Yeah. So so if you see a bloom, a lot of the issues in the U.S. in the Gulf states are where these blooms occur where people want to be on the water or recreate in the water, and even in Kansas, Milford Lake is probably the poster child for blue-green algae blooms, and in the Midwest, and Tuttle Creek has issues too. But yeah, so the state will, and the large bodies of water that people go to, they'll monitor those and they'll post those when they see a bloom. So if you see, a sign out where you're going to a big lake and there's caution about a bloom, then at least if you're in that vicinity, you want to go back and look at your water because the conditions are probably favorable that you may be having an issue that you didn't realize.
Perfect. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the things you can do to sample, send in samples, get a good diagnosis. We're here with Steve Ensley. We'll be right back. The state of Iowa and Iowa State University are proud to host the 2021 Beef Improvement Federation Annual Research Symposium and Convention. The convention will be located in downtown Des Moines with easy access to the airport, hotels, and local restaurants. Iowa State University is just north with its research and teaching farms. Join us in Iowa and experience how Iowa provides the beef industry with innovation to application.
Producers know stress costs money. It puts their cattle at greater risk of illness and can be a substantial drain on animal performance. That's why Zenpro developed Profusion Drench for beef cattle. Formulated with Zenpro's patented trace mineral technology, Profusion Drench is a no-script, no-needle performance supplement proven to rapidly replenish essential nutrients lost during times of stress. For optimal results, use Profusion Drench with Zenpro Performance Minerals in feed as part of a complete nutrition program. To learn more, go to zenpro.com. ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need. From prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thomson here with Dr. Steve Ensley, and we're back home. We're at Kansas State University, where had a great career and great time, and got to work with Dr. Ensley more than once in my career, and he's been a good friend and colleague. He's the leader of the toxicology section here at Kansas State at the Veterinary Diagnostic Lab, and just a wealth of knowledge. And if you have toxicology cases, I recommend send them into Kansas State. I haven't found anybody better to work with than Dr. Ensley. And so when we, if you think you have blue-green algae, how would you go about sampling?
So a couple things. There's a couple quick tests we do where you can take a sample of the water. So you take it on the downwind side, because these blooms will move with the prevailing wind. So don't go to the upwind side, go to the downwind side and collect your sample. Try to get it from as far off of the shore as you can get it, a couple feet at least, and then below the surface of the water, probably an inch. And if you take the water, put it in a bottle and watch it. If the algae, or if that color stays suspended, it may not be a problem. If the bloom goes to the bottom, then that's where we're concerned. Then the biggest issue is, if you think it's a problem, if you could collect the sample and get it to our lab, we like to look at those and see, because we look for these cyanobacteria that are in there, and if we see those, then we can also measure the toxin. But the most difficult thing can be trying to decide whether the bloom you have is actually a bloom or vegetation, or and how fast do we need to get animals off of there. If you don't see a death loss but you see a bloom, trying to sample quickly and trying to get it into the lab so we can look at it is
probably a good idea to go out into the pasture and look at your ponds,
right,
before kicking animals out in there. Because we've all had cases where they say, well, I'm running 400 cows and I've got them in all these pastures, but the only cows in this pasture are getting sick, or this pasture are dying.
Right. And a lot of times the water, people, depends on where the water source is. It's usually got to be a body of water, not a tank or a watering device of any kind. Usually we don't have any trouble with those. The surface water is where we see the issue. And so in the summertime in the Midwest, you need to periodically, try to look at the water sources to make sure they're fine.
How much do they send in, and what do they send it in?
So yeah, usually I like a bottle, a quart of water. Typically what I get is whatever's rolling around in the truck when they got there. If there's an empty bottle, pop can, spit can, whatever, So make sure you rinse that out a couple times. Try to collect the most accurate sample you can. But so typically if you're going to sample, you can stop at the quick shop, get a bottle of water, take that out to the pond, dump that out, rinse it a couple times with water from the pond, cap that, cool it, try to send it in a cool container, then get it to the lab.
How long does it take to get results back?
We'll look at them the same day or the next day. Sometimes we have to sit and let those samples settle and then look at them. It's more accurate that way. So, it's typically we try to get on that as quick as possible, because if it is a problem, we need to know.
Perfect. All right, folks. We're going to take a break here. We'll come back. We'll have a wrap up here on blue-green algae with Dr. Steve Ensley.
If you're looking for advanced and innovative livestock handling products and facilities, Daniels Manufacturing Company is who you want to choose. They are a family-owned business that puts the needs of their customers first, and have so since they opened in 1958. With low-stress cattle handling being of the utmost importance, they are focused on quality, not quantity. The company prides themselves on prioritizing the animal's well-being by staying on the cutting edge of design and only using the best materials and manufacturing operations. For more information or to purchase your own, contact Daniels Manufacturing Company today.
The state of Iowa and Iowa State University are proud to host the 2021 Beef Improvement Federation Annual Research Symposium and Convention. The convention will be located in downtown Des Moines with easy access to the airport, hotels, and local restaurants. Iowa State University is just north with its research and teaching farms. Join us in Iowa and experience how Iowa provides the beef industry with innovation to application.
Producers know stress costs money. It puts their cattle at greater risk of illness and can be a substantial drain on animal performance. That's why Zinpro developed Profusion Drench for beef cattle. Formulated with Zinpro's patented trace mineral technology, Profusion Drench is a no-script, no-needle performance supplement proven to rapidly replenish essential nutrients lost during times of stress. For optimal results, use Profusion Drench with Zinpro Performance Minerals in feed as part of a complete nutrition program. To learn more, go to zinpro.com.
Four generations before me did their job providing this opportunity to me and my siblings. If I do things right, I'm going to lay that opportunity out for my kids.
My entire family is a vital element of a job you have to get done.
You know, it's just fun to be around the family and doing this.
And you'll do the right thing for the business. You will do the right thing for the cows because it's for a family.
ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need, from prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thomson here with Dr. Steve Ensley. He's a toxicologist and professor here at Kansas State University at the College of Veterinary Medicine in the Veterinary Diagnostic Lab. And we're talking about blue-green algae, and we've talked about what it is, what it does, how to get samples and get them to you to find out. But now, what if I have a problem? What do I?
Right. I mean, so everybody wants to know, you know, how soon can I have animals on there? What do we do to prevent that? You know, that's what we need to know, and that's unfortunately what we don't. You know, intervention strategies to prevent it or moderate it or lessen it. You know, we're looking at a lot of things, but there is no one thing that really works well. In the past, we've used copper sulfate, so a lot of people that have tried to do something, you know that was an old treatment that we had, and it works. It'll kill the algae, but in the process of killing the algae, sometimes they'll make the bloom. They'll release more toxin as they die from that. So that, and it turns out, yeah, that hasn't always been good. And we also, if we have to, because we see that yearly now, if you do that year after year, you'll actually get enough copper in the silt or in the pond that can be an issue, just the copper itself. So the things we try to do is, one of the things is try to, when we have a rain event and it washes the soil or the water into the pond, that's when the issues always occur right after that, typically when the water's warm enough. So anything we can do to increase the buffer strips, increase, you know, the filtering of that water before it ever gets to the pond is what we try to work on. You know, if there's crop ground around, you know, try to do something we can do to divert that water away from the pond. So anything we can do to keep nitrogen and phosphorus, you know, from runoff into the pond is what we want to do, because we know that both of those will, you know, aggravate the situation, or that's what the algae like to grow. They like still water, they like warm water, and then they want a rainfall event that brings the food to the water. So if you can interfere with any of those three things, that's what we try to do.
Gotcha. I was amazed. To me, you know, I thought it was kind of a regional problem, but I sit on a board up in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and it's a huge issue up even in Canada that
Right.
they're having. Anywhere that there's an interaction between agriculture
Right.
and water seems to be
Right. In agriculture, we get a lot of the blame,
Right.
but there, in cities and other places where,
True.
nitrogen and phosphorus are used, they contribute just as much as any agricultural enterprise, even though we get the blame for most of it.
Yeah. Well, any parting words on blue-green algae?
No, I wish we had more information, more strategies to try to get rid of it. That's what we try to do. But, as an owner, monitor your water, know what the water supply looks like, because that's, for blue-green algae, that's the key.
Okay. Well, folks, thanks for joining us today. Remember, if you want to know and see what we do at DocTalk, you can find us on the web at www.doctalktv.com. Always work with your local veterinarian. And I'm here with Dr. Steve Ensley. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson here at Kansas State University, and we'll see you down the road.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Profusion Drench for beef cattle, a no prescription, no needle supplement. To learn more, go to zenpro.com. DocTalk was brought to you by Merck Animal Health, the science of healthier animals.